Hi, my name is Tom, and I will be giving a demo on Rails 6.1 horizontal sharding. So the first thing that we need to do to have multiple databases is to modify the config database YAML, and it changes from the normal two-tier thing to three tiers, where you basically have a section for each database. So primary is the default database that Rails expects, and then you can have multiple additional databases. So here we have additional one called shard1. And if you do that, we will have some additional database reg tasks for each database. So here we have migrations for each shard, migration status for primary and shard1, and so on and so forth. So and if you run reg db migrate, that runs it for all databases. So it wasn't, unfortunately, it wasn't possible to create dynamic databases infinitely, and I think that's a good thing anyway, because you don't want to suddenly lose your database connection because some dynamic thing has changed. But what I managed to do was to dynamically create new model connections, model database connections, using by reading from this configuration. So I've created a new abstract class where we set up the connects to shards, which is the way to achieve horizontal sharding in Rails. So basically what we do is that we connect to shards, and then we have this thing here that reads from the config YAML, and it constructs all the different shards for each database. Let's see what other things do we have. So we can open our Rails console as well to show you how to query each of the different databases. Okay. To query a different database other than the default database, you need to use the namespace.connector and then put the query inside the block. So if you do that, then, so for example, we want to query the shard1 database for a namespace shard. So if you do that, then it will come up with this namespace count here is the number of namespaces for the shard1. Notice that a user is not sharded, so it will always return the same. So if I go user.count, it will be the same. It will be 90 as well. And for comparison, if we do namespace.count, which will default to the primary, it's different. It's much larger. So the horizontal sharding support is still pretty basic so far, and some of it is down to the fact that if you don't supply it with shard, it will default to primary. So where places where it's not implemented yet, you run into issues. So for example, if we try to get the namespace, the first namespace out, which was the first group, sorry, and assign that to that, you can see that it's actually got the wrong path, unfortunately, which is not right. Because if you kind of compare the actual path on the table, it's actually lost and found. So that's one of the traps so far, and the way around that is to load everything that you need within the block, so that and as you can see, it kind of gets very tedious, and it's quite a trap. If you don't preload it and then you try and get the association in the main block, then it's gonna run queries against the default